Oh yeah, the British public are ready for this, and we'll finally be getting to see the much anticipated rematch of Josh Taylor and Jack Catterall on April the 27th in Leeds. But the two of them have been engaged in a bitter war of words since their first meeting back in February 2022. Many believe that Catterall outboxed Taylor that night and should have won after scoring a knockdown in the 8th round. But Josh Taylor was handed a controversial split decision win, and now they do it again. Now then, Simon and I and Danny live on talkSPORT. I have never seen this place so busy, and this is for real. So we are in studio. And we have so many people the other side of the glass, on the other side of the studio here. We have so many people in this studio. I've never seen it so busy. And I mean it. This is for real. If you're watching on Twitter and YouTube, we have a security man there. This is Phil. We have a gentleman back here. And we have camera crews as well. Simon's to my right. Danny's to my right. Jack Catterall's to my left. Phil, the security man, is there. And Josh Taylor is to my left as well.
Spencer's out there in case it goes off, Jim.
Spencer Oliver, the diminutive Spencer Oliver, is ready at any time to come in.
Oh, that's reassuring.
And come to our rescue if this gets feisty. So, Josh Taylor, let's start with you. This rivalry, I saw you up in Edinburgh, and I saw you yesterday in Manchester, and you were going at it, the two of you. And you've got very uncomplimentary things to say about Jack. Do you stand by them?
Yes. To answer your question, yes, I do stand by them, yes.
Why do you dislike him so much?
It's not that I dislike him, I don't know the guy to dislike him or not, but he just comes across as what I've said, yes. I've repeated it and I stand by it, yeah.
Jack, do you dislike Josh?
Yeah. He's said a lot of things over the last couple of years. It's been back and forth and we don't see eye to eye, we're not friends, and yeah, I stand by the stuff that I've said.
You still maintain that you should have been given the nod and it's your hand that should have been raised first time around, Jack?
Yeah, 100%. But again, we're 2 years on from that and finally we're sat here now when we get the chance to settle it in April.
Would you have been, if he'd have been a bit more complimentary after the fight, because it wasn't his fault the judges scored it to you, of course, do you think you'd have the bad blood still if you got a bit more respect?
Yeah, of course. I've never said it was down to Josh. I think the stuff he said after the fight didn't help his cause. No matter what he'd have said after the fight, I'd still feel like I won the fight, and but ultimately the fact how he went about it has ultimately got us in this position, or in a stronger position to fight again.
I know, Simon, you've had your own thoughts on it. Josh, you didn't like, I don't think, what Simon said, because you thought...
No, can I stop you there?
Go on.
No, actually, it's the complete opposite. Like, I don't care what people's opinions are of the fight. If they thought Jack won or I won, I couldn't really care. That's their opinion. People are entitled to it. So I think I saw you saying something the other day that I'm a bit sensitive and all that. It's completely the opposite way. Like, if you thought Jack won and people thought that he won, that's cool. Like, that's your opinion of the fight. That's cool.
Well,
I've got absolutely no problems with that at all.
That's how it should be, because it would seem in this space, in the boxing space, that anyone that doesn't give praise, all of a sudden people start sulking and getting a bit.
That's not the case with me. That's not the case.
Good, because I do think Jack won that first fight.
Yeah, it's good.
And I do think that the scoring was abhorrent, and I'm glad that you two guys are getting back in the ring, because I think it's a great fight. I'm not interested in all the sort of handbags at dawn that you two want to get involved in. That sells fights and theatrics. I'm interested in two fighters putting on a fight that has an outcome that doesn't have any controversy. You know, that's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in some proper scoring, because I think the scoring in the first fight was appalling. That's why that judge is no longer scoring anymore. I couldn't make a case in the first fight for Jack winning that fight based upon your performances and where I thought you were as a fighter. But I couldn't make a case after the fight for you having won it. But that's all incidental now. What it is now is the interesting and the fascinating thing is it feels like a Froch Groves sort of encounter, but it doesn't, because there's something in the middle of the room that confuses me, which is your loss against Teofimo Lopez. Yeah. That's what worries me in this fight for you, because I would say, with all due respect to you, Jack, that there are levels, and I would expect Josh, who I didn't think didn't seem to be as focused in the right way in the first fight, and I would have anticipated him to be better in the second fight. But I worry now, and it confuses me about where this fight will go, and that's why it's so fascinating. Yeah. Because despite the observations that you and I had a back and forth about me saying to you, which is where our back and forth came, which is, are you going to fight this fella? Because really and truly, the reasons why you're fighting him is because it's an itch you got to scratch, because you know that this is a problem.
Well, I think the the back and forth come from. You're like, are you going to fight him next?
Yeah.
I'm like, well,
Because
I
I
can't.
wanted you to say yes or no, because you guys say one thing and do another. Not you particularly, but fighters ad infinitum.
Yeah, well,
and I'm glad that you're here.
I said yes, I'm going to fight the guy, but right now I can't. I've got my mandatory to
You've got
take care of.
Teofimo Lopez.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say, though, Josh, you underestimated Jack first time round? You didn't think he'd be so good as he was on the night?
Yeah, I'd say that's fair. Yeah, I'd say that's fair. I made the worst mistake that you can do in the art of warfare, which is underestimating your opponent, and that's what I done. You know, the level of success that I had in such a short period of time. You know, it was like Jack and I had made a deal prior, like, if I win the fight, I'll give you the shot first, and that's what we've done. And it was like, Jack hasn't boxed anyone, he hadn't really beaten anyone of significance. You know, I thought that Harry Davis beat him, as the majority of other people did as well. You know, he's laughing, you know, but that's my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinion as well. And, you know, I just thought, he's not my level, and I get myself fit, and, you know, I'll turn up and win as long as I'm fit. And that's the worst mistake that I made.
Sure.
You know, so I've learnt from mistakes. You know, I thought, you know, obviously on the way up, leading up to becoming world champion, I learnt for these past fighters that did do that, and I thought I'll never do that. You know,
and do you think
I was only human and made that mistake.
And it's good of you to say that. Do you think you'll be even better this time, Jack?
100%. I think I'm getting better as a fighter. I think he says when he probably overlooked me. I don't think that's the case. He said all the things before the fight. I'm not overlooking him. He said all the right things. I think it's a bit of a cop-out excuse that he overlooked
Things that
me.
you've got to say. I'm
I
not
think
going to
he's
exactly
touched
say,
the
oh, no,
ceiling
I'm
with
looking
Ramirez, and I think he's coming back
I'm
down.
looking at someone else when that's what I was doing. I've got to say, yeah, you've got my full focus. Got to say things
I think
like
he
that.
touched the ceiling with Ramirez, and I think I beat him, and I think since then he's been on the decline.
So how do you rate him at the moment, Jack?
I think after April the 27th, Josh Taylor retires.
You'll retire him that night?
100%.
What do you think when you hear that? Now, he's being serious.
I know he's being
serious. There's no mucking about here. He's being serious. Is that crossing your mind? If he beats me, it might be over for me.
No, not one bit, because I know he ain't going to beat me, and I won't be retiring if he does win anyway. There's still some fights out there.
And that's what he said earlier on today.
Fight.
He's thinking about the options once he gets beat, but I honestly believe this is his final fight, and then he's finished.
Yeah, okay.
Why are we doing this dance at 140, Josh? The conventional wisdom looks at you and thinks two performances against him and against Teofimo Lopez.
Yeah.
And the intelligence suggests that you're struggling to make that weight, and that's what's contributing to these performances.
That's the consensus, is what people think I'm struggling to make
I'm asking you. I'm putting it to you what
I
people
don't
are
struggle to
suggesting.
make the weight.
No?
You've said that
I
for the
don't
last
struggle to
2
make the
years, that you've been, before the fight with me,
I've done
this
it
was
wrong
your last
the last
fight at
couple of times.
140.
I never prepared
struggled to make
properly
weight, and
the
I'm going
last
to
time.
Are
147.
you fighting him at 140 because you feel that you have to? Because if you don't fight him at 140 and you fight him at 142 and 143, everyone goes, that's a cop-out.
No, I'm doing it at 140 because I know that I can do the weight.
Yeah.
I know that when I win the fight again, I'm in the picture for world title fights again, and also him. If he wins, he gets in the picture to fight for a world title. I'm doing it because I know I can make the weight. People are saying I'm washed at the weight, this and that. I know I'm not. So yeah, that's why I'm doing it. You know, so yeah, we can speculate and have all these accusations and saying I'm washed. That's cool. Everybody can say what they want. I really don't care. I know my body, and I know what happened in the lead up to the last fight.
Yeah.
You know, there was factors as to why the legs went, but there's no point in saying it. It happened. I went in with the fight because I felt good. I felt I had the best of preparations to the best of my ability with the limitations that I had. So I went into the fight feeling good, fit and strong. I just wasn't good enough on the night. I had a bad performance, and in with a genuine world class fighter, you get beat, you know.
Jack,
and if I turned up like
Josh,
that,
we're going to head to a break. But as we head to the break, Jack, you say you'll retire him. What do you do in the night then in Leeds in April? Do you stop him? Do you knock him out?
Yeah, I believe I can knock him out 100%. I think he's on the decline. I don't think his body's built for it anymore. He's had a great career, but his body's took a lot of punishment. He's 33 now, and we've seen over the last 2 years the injuries, the foot, the ankle, the eye. His body seems to be deteriorating, and I think when I get my hands on him in April and I give him the beating that I can't wait to give him, I think it shuts his body down completely.
Is your body breaking down, Josh?
if that's what you want to think, that's what you want to think. Injuries can happen to anyone. Injuries can happen to anyone at any time. Doesn't matter what age you are. You know, like, your body goes through a whole lot in training camps, and sometimes you've got to listen to it. Sometimes it over pushed the little niggles, and it created injuries. Like, it can happen to anyone. So
We're
say
gonna,
what you want.
You're going to stay with us until 1 o'clock. We're going to take a quick break. Do we need all this? Do we need Phil, the security guy, and this security man, and this?
I don't think so.
Are we
But
safe
this
in
guy
here with
keeps
just
trying
the
to
two
lift
of
his
you?
hands. This guy keeps trying to lift his hands.
We
He's
addressed
not
this
very
this morning.
professional,
You
you
raised
know.
your hands first on Monday. You tried to touch me.
No, I just felt your little
So
chippy
just
tits
let
because
you know
you're
that
quite
you don't
chubby.
intimidate me. Stand down.
Just says there's your little chippy tits because you're quite chubby. I know you struggle to make the weight.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.